Hey everyone, Flying Dutchie here and welcome to another episode in our tutorial. This is episode 10 I think, and we are going to talk about, once again, the state dividends. So when we own a building ourselves, how that actually goes, because I told you the wrong information in episode 8, so we're going to rectify that immediately. We're going to take a look at how wages work, because what determines how much money the people make, that is also coded in the game. And we are going to talk about companies, because we just unlocked a company, so that will be the things we will talk about in this game. Maybe we'll play a little bit more, but let's see. So let's first go back to one of our own buildings. We own this building, right? We own this for one level. And yeah, the dividends go to us, because we own this building. We will talk about why we make so much compared to the expenses, because why would they not raise the wages for the people that are working here? We will take a look at that soon. They don't have to anymore, because there's a limit. But let's first take a look at the dividends, right? You can see, and I thought that the half of this would go away, but that is not true. Based on the economic law you have, you will get government dividends out of the weekly balance of your own buildings. At the moment that is 50%. 50% will go to government dividends, because we have interventionism. We get a 50% government dividends reinvestment. So the game decides that 50% of the money that we make out of a building will go to the investment pool. And that means that the rest will go to our coffers. So 50% government reinvestment, so 50% goes to our treasury and 50% go to the investment pool. That is also why this is over here, the tooling workshop. This is our building. Because the buildings that are owned by manor houses and financial districts will be listed over here, right? So these numbers should all be our buildings. There's no other way. So all these numbers are our nationally owned buildings, and they also go to our investment pool. And that is 50% on interventionism. 50%. If we would go to laissez-faire, we will have to put all our money that we make from our buildings will go to the investment pool. But right now it's 50%, right? 50% government dividends reinvestment. That leaves 50% for us. And from that 50% that goes to us, there is a government dividend efficiency. And at the moment, our government dividend efficiency is, well, almost 50%, because we are a little bit in debt. And that is where we lose the money. And that portion is gone, I think. So you can see that we only make 231, which is the half of the 462 or it's around 470, right? Let's go back to that building again. Yeah, it's almost a half of it, because we have a little bit of debt, we get some modifiers. So always the reinvestment is always completely going to the investment pool, but from the portion that goes to us, into our treasury, we have an efficiency. So at the moment we lose 25% of the weekly balance. 50% goes to the investment pool and 25% goes to our coffers, which is over here. This is the income to the investment pool, and once again, we get only 231 from this tooling workshop, because we have a 50% efficiency. So that is how that works. I also want to clarify something with the logging camps here. I told you that the local workforce would not get the dividends, right? But that is not true. So once again, we have 6 levels of logging camps here. And from these 6 levels, 2 levels are local workforce that owns this, and 4 levels are the financial district. But all the people that work here are getting dividends. So also the people that would maybe fall under this category. How you can look at this better is shares. 2 shares of the 6 are owned by the local workforce. So a laborer has 2 shares of the local workforce and 4 of the financial districts, something like that. That is how it makes it a little bit more clear. And that means that all the laborers are getting some dividends because there are 2 local workforce shares. So all the people that are working here, all the 24,000 laborers are getting some dividends. Because 2 of the 6 levels, 33% of this building is owned by the local population. And not just 2 levels of workforce, no, all the workforce, but then just 33%. And that is how you need to look at it. So that's actually pretty good. This building is super profitable that way. And that, that just gives everyone that works here some dividends. And once again, shopkeepers get twice the amount, machinists 1.5 the amount, and laborers the 1 of the amount per pop, per citizen, I guess. So that is how that works. And now we are going to talk about, I think, the wages. So this is also very interesting because that is also in this screen. And I will open up my a very profitable building. Let's go to the tooling workshop that is still under privatization, by the way. My investment pool is trying to buy this from us, which is good because then we have less debt. This number will go down. But yeah, this is our good running tooling workshop at the moment. And you can see over here that there is an average annual wage. The average wage in a single individual in the workforce would earn annually while working at this building. This is the average wage, and there are wage factors. First, you need to know that a machinist will always make 50% more wage than a laborer. A shopkeeper will always make 2 times the wage of the laborer. An engineer will always make 3 times the wage of a laborer. If you multiply this number with those factors, you will get their wages. We can see that our laborers are making 4.57. Come on, game. That's pretty good, actually. And I will show you why that is good very soon. But these are the factors. They are set in stone. That is always the case. And I don't know what the factors are for some other groups right now, but you can easily see it over here, I think. Or when we go, oh yeah, you can see it over here. So once again, the cost of the building is they need to buy steel, they need to buy wood, and they need to pay wages. And here you can see that the laborers over here get 4.57. Why? Because that is the base wage of this building. We'll take a look at why it is a base wage soon. But here we can see they make 13.37 because the engineers get 3 times as much as the laborers. Set in stone. The building will try to increase the wages when it is very profitable to a certain threshold. And I have been taking a look with this together with someone who joined my my Discord. It was Field Bear, so thank you Field Bear for sharing your thoughts here. Your wages will increase to a certain threshold. What is that threshold? Well, first of all, the building needs to be 30% more profitable than that it costs. So the margin needs to be 30% or more, and then the building will look to increase wages. So that is the first prerequisite. At the moment, it costs 2,090 and it makes 3,040. So that is almost a factor of, what is it, 33%? So I think the building is ready to increase the wages, because it's very profitable. Now let's take a look at who works here and why they maybe can or cannot increase the wages. In this building we have engineers, shopkeepers, machinists and laborers working. Let's take a look at the laborers first. You can do this and then click on the 3050 laborers that are Swedish and Protestant and that work in this building. Click. That is this pop group. The game looks at the standard of living of the people that work in the building. These laborers have a minimum expected standard of living of 5. I think they are not very literate, because otherwise they would have a higher. Yeah, they can almost no read books at all at the moment. So that is the downside of literacy. Your people expect more. At the moment their literacy is low, so that is actually not that bad for us. But we have to take a look at all the pop groups. So let's take a look at the laborers first. They have a minimum of 5. They are currently at 9. The building will raise wages until all the pops in the building are having a standard of living with a factor 33% higher than the minimum expected. So if we do 5 times 1.33, we get 6.65. So I think it rounds down to the number. So when the laborers have a standard of living of 6, the building will not raise wages anymore when it is very profitable. They are already at 9. So for them, they don't need to raise wages anymore. Then we go to the machinist. They are at 12. Their minimum is only 6. They have a little bit of literacy. 6 times 1.33 is 7.98, so I think they only need 7. I think it rounds down. They are 12, so this building absolutely doesn't need to raise wages. They have a fantastic life. Even when it says impoverished over there. Then the shopkeepers. The shopkeepers have a minimum expected of 12. Well, they have 10 because that is the base value of this profession, and they are a little bit more literate. So they want 12. 12 times 1.33 is 15.96. I think the game rounds it down to 15. So also the shopkeepers don't need to increase their standard of living. They are at the maximum of this building. And then we go to the engineers. The engineers have a minimum expected of 15. 10 is the base, and they have some sort of literacy. 15 times 1.33 is 19.95. They are at 19. So in this building, everyone is at the maximum wage. They will never get more because the game stops increasing wages when they are 33% over their expected minimum. So all the extra profits will just stay as dividends. The wages will not increase in this building. And that is how wages work. If the building is between 15 and 30% profitable, they will not change anything. And when the building is only making 15%, they will seek to lower the wages. I'm not sure until which point they will lower the wages. Maybe to the minimum expected standard of living. Because if it goes lower, the people will get radical in a country, and that should always not be the case. Let's take a look at a very not profitable building here. Oh well, no one is working over here at the moment. That can change when the demand for groceries goes up over time. Let's take a look. Paper mills. Are you very profitable? No. This building is not very profitable. Why? It costs 3.2 and they make 3.9. Well, actually, let me take my calculator here, one moment. This building has a profit margin of 23%, so nothing will change in this building. They will not increase or decrease the wages because they are between 15 and 30% margin. Take a look at this workforce over here. We see that the shopkeepers are at 17. Their minimum is 13 times 1.33. What is that? 13 times 1.33 is 17, so they are already at their maximum. And the laborers are also already at their maximum. 8 times 1.33 should be around 11. So this building is also giving the people already their maximum wage. So that is pretty handy, right? Let's take a look at the building that is actually not doing that great. The fishing wharves. Okay, this is a good building. The fishing wharves are only making 10%. So this building should maybe try looking to lower wages because they want to reach that 15% threshold before they stop doing this, right? Let's take a look at the workforce here. The shopkeepers are at 16. They only need 14, so maybe the game might lower the wages here? Not entirely sure how that works. The machinists are having a huge standard of living. And the laborers are also doing fine. I wonder if this building over time will try to maybe just lower the wage so that it will go back to the 15%. Because that is the first threshold. They need 15% margin. And I think it's almost there. So that is how the wages work and what makes things cost money in a building. So that's really nice because now we know what the weekly balance is, we know what the cash reserves are, we know how dividends are getting paid depending on who owns the building. We know how the wages are determined, we know how the price of these goods are determined. How much you have in a state and the market, preferably the state, because that is having no penalties. You can see the import here is very low, and the export is a bit more expensive. This building is very, very profitable, and you can see it over here. So that is how buildings work. Shares, just keep in mind that it's 50-50 over here, but they are both financial districts, so it doesn't change anything. All the dividends go first to the cash reserves, and when the cash reserves are full, all the dividends will go to the financial districts. 50% to this one and 50% to that one. And yeah, that is just how everything works. And the throughput is just a economy of scale. If you build 10 levels, you get 10% extra throughput. You make 10% more chairs out of nowhere. And that is, of course, very profitable. Okay. Very nice that we have talked about the wages. There are way more modifiers, by the way, for the wages that I don't know. They are all in the game files. I cannot read those. It's too difficult for me. You cannot find it on the internet how wages work. It's important. It's impossible to find all the information. Just keep in mind my 15 and 30% for a profitable building. If it's not profitable, they will try to lower wages. I think to a threshold that they are still having their standard of living. There's also a minimum wage, but I don't know how that works, so I'm sorry about that. Yeah, and then the last thing I want to talk about, and then we're going to play a bit more, I think, are the companies. We just have unlocked our first company. And that is also over here, this building. So if you click this thing, or this thing, it's the same thing. So let's click on the companies. We have unlocked one company because we did a technology corporate charters. We get an extra company. Oh, the first one. How do companies work? Companies are associated with one or several types of buildings in a country. When established in said country, they increase the throughput and construction efficiency of their associated buildings. Okay. Let's take a look. At the moment, if we pick a company, we get a company throughput bonus. All the buildings that are part of a company will get a throughput bonus and a construction bonus. It will go 31% quicker. So if you focus, for example, on wood or logging camps, and I would establish this one, we immediately get 26% throughput bonus for all logging camps. So we would get 26% more wood created and hardwood created out of nowhere. That is very nice, right? And when we would build more logging camps, it will go 31% quicker. Or it's 31% cheaper, I'm not really sure about that, but it just goes, it's better. Just keep it that way. Now, there are a couple of available companies, and there are companies that are attainable, so you have a chance to get them. And there are, well, actually, why can we not establish this one? Because we have no fertilizer plant. Why cannot establish this one? Because we don't have dye plantations. So they are always, we don't have a food industry that is level 5 or higher. So we cannot get the Jeuterland foods. So that is the first thing you need to know what companies are. So you can get a massive bonus to your goods. I think it would be very nice for us to get a mine industry to do this on, right? Now, there are a couple of things we can take. We can take 5 right now, so we have the things that we want to get. And there is another thing that happens with companies, and that is why we see these things on the screen. So that is something else. It activates at prosperity level. Now, what is prosperity? Companies have a prosperity score which depends on their productivity. So if a building is very makes a lot of money, the productivity goes up, right? When a company has at least 100, it will activate the bonus for the country. And that are these bonuses. Prosperity will increase while productivity is at least 25 or 1.25 times the global average. If my logging camps are 25% better in making money, we will get an increase in prosperity. I think it goes 5 per week. So it takes 20 weeks to reach 100 prosperity. But when the average is lower, or it will be below 5, 25%, then it will go down. So if we are around 100, nothing changes. Is this a threshold? 25% more productivity, you get an extra prosperity tick the next week. Are you 25% less than the world, or you are at 5 or lower, you're not gonna get it. Now, at the moment we can see the productivity for our farms is at 8.8. So we would never, based on this number, reach prosperity. So we need to make the farm 25% better than the average on the globe. I don't think I can do that at the moment. We can try to do this. So there are two things you need to want to take into account. Which things do I really need in my country, and do I want to get a throughput bonus for? Do I want to build more of this? Or do I look at what I can gain later in the game when I get prosperity for the company and take a look at the bonuses? Now, I don't really care about this one. This one we can make. We can make our livestock ranges and one cotton plantation better with 26% throughput. And then we need to reach prosperity, which at the moment we will not increase prosperity because the global average is 8.4 and we only have 4. So these buildings are really bad. So we will never reach 100 prosperity, so we will never reach the 10% textile mills building throughput. So not gonna work for us. Then we have the Götaland Forestry Conglomerate. Our 16 logging camps. We don't have any rubber at the moment, that's later in the game. Could get the 26% instantly. But will we reach the bonus for the prosperity? We get 1 infrastructure per 100 population. Can be really nice. We can get more maximum infrastructure from population. At the moment, the global average is 8.4. We have 7.9. So my logging camps are not making enough to increase productivity. And that means we don't get prosperity. I don't think we have anything we can pick right now that will make us reach the prosperity, but we can focus on it. So also the mines here are iron mines. Our 7 iron mines can get the bonus, but we will not reach the prosperity because the productivity at the moment is too low compared to the global average. And also there is a fishery one. I'm just gonna pick one here. We have 5 choices. We cannot get the other ones because we don't have the buildings. But you can see that here we get more innovation. But then we need electrics. That's gonna take a very long time. If we would have gold, which we get later, we get more minting. That is free money. So that is also very nice. I wish we could get IKEA. So at the moment, if we would have Home Good Conglomerate of Sweden, you see the check mark here, we would reach prosperity. Why is that? Well, we have 2 furniture factories that are very, very profitable. We have a productivity of 14 in our country, and the global average is only 8. So we would get the ticking progress towards this bonus. 10% more loyalists from the standard of living increases. Okay, can be nice, I guess. The LCAP. When my mines are good, we get 20% iron mine building throughput. That is insane. But we cannot establish this one. Why is that? Because we need a building level in Norrland. That has a level 3 iron mine and a railway. And we need to research the open harbor. So later on you will unlock so many more things. And then you can even make your navy stronger this way. You can make your army stronger if you're focusing on that one. But there are some really good bonuses. Now let's just pick one. I think we're gonna go with our logging camp. Well, no, the wood price is already so low. Iron as well, right? Let's go with the metal consortium. So that my steel mill get more throughput. Because we are gonna need steel soon. Because we are going to unlock railways. Okay, let's get this one. So we will pick this. That just goes away. We instantly make more money because my iron mines are going to get a bonus. We have a 56% throughput bonus, I think. That is just insane. Why do we have this? We have 5 levels of iron mines over here. We have the bonus of the Bergslagen in Svealand, which is a state bonus. We have a 10% of the Bergsbruggens district. I don't know what that is, actually. I don't know what that bonus is. That the bonus of... No. What is that bonus? I don't know. Nope. I really don't know what that bonus is at this point. But it's also because I just started recording again. But we are going to a 56% throughput. We create 56 iron out of nowhere. So normally we would make, with the picks and shovels, we make 5, we make 20. So we make 100. But we are going to 156. We make 56 out of nowhere. And that makes this building very profitable, of course. Unless the price goes down too much. And then the building does not make. But lower iron prices are generally a good thing. Now let's unpause the game here. We are gonna play a bit more. What were we doing? We are trying to get National Guard. We are not building, but I will actually start building again. Because we need the motor industries if we want to build railways. And the railways are almost researched. So we are going to start the construction again. Which will give us more deficit, but remember, my private investment pool is making some of our own buildings nationalized, so we get the money, and that would lower our credit. So let's unpause and let's start constructing again. Now, since we now have our company, it will also be listed over here. Maybe it will be listed in the economy tab. Yeah, it's also listed in the show pinned outliner. You can decide yourself what you want in this outliner. We will talk about this next time. Whoa, you guys are so angry. Yeah, because we have no good relations with Russia, I think. But we are trying to get it, but that is annoying. Here's the company meter. You can see we will not get a prosperity tick because our productivity is not good enough. We need to go 25% above 8.3 with our iron mines. And we are working on it because we have some of our iron mines that are not yet on the atmospheric engine pump because we don't have the coal. The coal mines are in the list and they are also getting built right now because we are using 30 for our own construction. This will change because we have a maximum of 30, so 22.5 but 7.5 is 30. When my private investment pool is ready to build the next building, they are now privatizing our tooling workshop, I think, that is owned by us. You can see our credit is certainly lower because the coal mine they privatized was also our coal mine. So our debt is slowly going down because they buy our buildings. And as long as they don't have to build themselves, we will have all the construction sectors. When the private investment pool is starting to build something, we have to give 50% away. And also the other way around. If I don't build, they can use all 30%. I think. We have completed our next law. We have National Guard, which gives us a new institution at level 1. And we can now mobilize more battalions. We also get some bonuses to political movement, radicalism, which is this number. See, we have now minus 5% to radicalism of movements in our country. Revolution and secession is not going to happen any moment, and conscription rate is nice, because that will make our conscriptions to go quicker. What are conscriptions again? That is this number. We can now make more conscripts. But since we have this, we now have a small bureaucracy shortage. Oh, but we also have a timed modifier, so I guess we just wait for that one to go away. Yeah. We have a disappearing interest. Why is that? Oh, because I did deselect it, I guess. We have some pops that don't get their standard of living. Now that is bad. In Gotland. That is our small island over here. Let's take a look at our island. You can see that we have a problem here. The average is even lower than what they expect. What is happening on this small island? We only have 34,000 people. They are trying to... No, they are not even trying to get away. They are just dying. Oh, that is horrible. We have a lot of laborers and some peasants over here. And all our laborers that are working over here are starving. The people that work in the livestock range are starving. The people that work at the port are starving. We have 12,000 working in a livestock range. That is a lot of people. Well, how can there be 12? When there is only one level. What? $3,780. Oh, it's correct. It's everyone. The pops and their families. These are the working adults, and their families are the 12,000. They are starving over here in the livestock range. Why is that? Well, the grain price is pretty high. The wages are of course very low, because the building is not profitable. It doesn't make any money at all, almost. Because the meat price is low, so they cannot sell it. So, once again, if we can maybe get an export route with meat, which we cannot, we could make this better. So, there is not a lot we can do about this. What we can do... Yeah, we don't need more meat, so... We could maybe make the grain price lower, and that's going to be it. There's nothing else we can do over here. So, let's just get a farm here, I guess. One level. Then you can click on it. We are making some fertilizer. For now, just maintain single crop and don't use any tools. Maybe when the import price of grain is lower, they will go above their minimum. But otherwise, there's nothing we can do about it at the moment, because it's just a super tiny island with almost no population. So yeah, there's not a lot we can do about it. We also have an influence deficit. Let's stop improving with a country. Well, soon we can stop with Prussia. When you are at 50, you don't increase it anymore with improved relations. Then we have to wait for a trade agreement to get us to 80 over time. So we will just get to 50 and then stop it. Having a small deficit only gives a prestige penalty. And that is just a number. It doesn't affect a lot. So. And there we go, we have our railways unlocked. We get new production methods on all plantations and mines. We can get public trams for urban centers, which we did not take a look at yet. And we can build railways. Okay. Let's take a look at it, what that all is. When we go to our rural buildings, we can now put rail transportation on all our farms and our mines. For example, we have 7 iron mines. We could do this on all our 7 iron mines. Or you do it on per state. We can do it on these 5 and not on these 2. Or we do it on these 2 but not on these 5. That's also something you can do. What will give it? We need to use transportation, which you get with a railway. And it will decrease the employment of laborers with 3,500. So you're going to fire laborers that would normally carry the iron, and instead you're gonna use a train. That is how you need to see it. So you substitute people for automation. And it has its goods and its bads, but we cannot do this right now because we don't have any transportation yet. Because we need to wait until we have our motor industry. So we are gonna keep building, and we need to select a new research. Let's take a look at the trees here. So we went atmospheric engine, mechanical tools and railways. We could go do the Bessemer process, then we get a new production method for the steel mills. We're going to make more steel. We can do something military. We could start making ammunition so we can finally get our skirmish infantry. Because skirmish infantry costs ammunition that we don't have right now. And at the society, we have a couple of good things as well, but most of the good things we already have, I think. Well, what a good thing is Central Archives. Central Archives gives a new production method for your government administration. Our government administration at the moment, well, the government wages are pretty high. When you have a better production method and you can make more bureaucracy with it, because that is what will happen, and more taxation capacity, which we don't need it. I told you that in the previous episode. At Sweden you don't need that. We could maybe kill a couple of these buildings so that we keep more money ourselves. How much do we have right now? We have 7 of them. Okay, that is not a lot. But if I could put this one to this one, we're gonna make so much more bureaucracy that we could maybe take 2 or 3 levels away in our capital, and that is gonna make us leaving with more money. So that could be a technology we can pick. I really like that one. Modern sewage is also giving all kinds of bonuses. More infrastructure, it gives construction sector can go higher. Now there's also the water tube boiler. And the water tube boiler is another bonus for a couple of your factories. But also it gives a better pump for your mines. So we go immediately to the 3rd level. At the moment we can have only the 1st and 2nd level. But we could go to the 3rd level with that one. Which means we can make things even more efficient. We're also gonna get more engineers and machinists instead of laborers. So the average standard of living in the country will go higher this way. But there's something we can do here. I think I'm gonna go with that one. Let's go and get the water tube boiler. So that we can get the condensing engine pump on all our mines. The water tube boiler itself is just another thing to fire labor for automation. In your motor industries, your steel mills, your paper mills, tooling workshops, and furniture factories. At the start of the game you don't need to do this, but let's get this technology so that we can get more out of our mines again. And that will make our mines one of the best in the world, I think. Because once again, we have a 55% throughput. Because we have the company. And that also makes that the iron mines are now so they are so good now at making iron because of those bonuses that we are slowly getting some prosperity sometimes. Because you can see the productivity of the iron mines are now at 9.8. They need 25% higher than this, which is above 10. But they are almost on average getting a productivity tick, and they already have 20, I think. And they need 200, I think, to get to the bonus. And that is because of this throughput bonus. So at the start you would think you don't get it. But when the throughput bonus is calculated, suddenly the building is very profitable. Yeah, and we could maybe get more coal soon, and then we can make it even better. So that is our goal. I will end the episode here. We have talked about the state dividends, how that is actually divided with the correct information. We talked about the wages and the companies. I think in the next episode we are going to play a bit more again. I will take a look at the lenses a bit more. I will take a look at the menu over here, what you can do, and all over here, because we did not really talk about it. We did talk about all these things now, I think. We did not take a quick look about all the laws and which one are good and bad, but it's fine. We just have unlocked our new institution, which costs bureaucracy. But yeah, we have talked about most of the things over here. So yeah, I think I'm going to end it here, and in the next episode we are going to play a bit more. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, give your reaction. It really helps with people finding this video. And then I see you in the next one, guys. Bye bye.